Welcome to an episode of In the Kink of Things. I wasn't quite sure what I was going to talk about today, or this week technically. And I had started a video and I felt like I was really just pushing it, forcing it. And then in my mind it's like, well, maybe I skip this week. Maybe I don't talk about anything and just follow next week. And I also didn't quite want to do that, but that thought inspired, why don't I just talk about that? Why don't I just talk about how my last couple weeks have been really rough, but I've shown up differently. I've decided to make the best of things, and not in a way of I'm stuck in a situation, so I gotta be positive and happy and pretend I'm not enjoying it. But how can I find joy and fun and pleasure within the situation? It was just a lot of work and needing to be present. And I did have a choice. I did have the choice of telling my family, telling the people I'm working with that I'm not doing it. I could have done that, but I didn't want to do that. So since I did choose to do the extra work, how can I show up in as the best version of myself? And part of that involved actually eating, actually making sure I had the fuel to do the stuff I wanted to do, and then not being resentful because I rather would have wanted to do something else. And how can I bring some fun and play and joy into what I was doing? So I ended up being silly and a little over the top at times, not all the time, but just changing the mood and not letting the stress be my reality. I took pauses and I took deep breaths and I did some stretching and just like, okay, I'm just gonna stretch and relax and whew, just, all right, just gather some energy and like, let's keep going. And that is a really interesting shift in perspective, because in the past I would have not given myself a choice, even though I still have the choice to do and show up and walk away if I really wanted to. And that's the same with relationships, with living arrangements, with what you do for a living, what you do in exchange for money, how you feed yourself, how you show up in your life. It's all a choice. And sometimes it feels like the choices are too hard to make. So not making a choice is also a choice. And I know for some people that feels like too much responsibility. But the difference is that acknowledging that you do have a choice, even if the situation is extremely rough feeling, it gives you your own power back. It allows you to be in charge of your life, of your reality, and that is the difference. You can still play the victim mode if you wish, of things are happening to you, reality is happening to you, you are reacting to your reality, but then you're always going to be behind and you're giving away your choice, you're giving away your power. And being in that space really sucks. It's easy. It's lazy. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to think anything. You don't have to feel anything other what the outer world is asking you to feel. And then you just react to it from default mode. But if you are ready to move on from there, if you are ready to embrace who your soul is, who you are as a human being, having this experience on this planet in this reality, and wanting to have the most exciting for you life, then you need to make choices and not just go by old default programming, because that's the only way that things will change. If you decide to want a change and then embody that change. And yes, that can feel a little challenging, especially if you've followed a certain rut for so long that it feels like there's no way out. But once you allow yourself to desire and feel and shift frequency, the path will reveal itself. You don't have to figure it out. That's the one thing that I had to let go of, is figuring out and understanding how things work. I mean, I do have a base understanding, but I don't have to arrange things for them to happen. And that's the strangest thing. I have to be in my power, in my energy, in my heart space. I have to follow my excitement, follow the things that just make me almost like blossom inside, like make my energy, make my body feel warm, just like bubbling up, and allowing that to flow through me and out. And happy anticipation of creative possibilities. It's not looking at things that I'm not happy about and I'm pretending that they don't exist. It's looking at my life and seeing how am I perceiving it, and not judging it, but more of an assessment. Where am I at in this moment? And how can I switch my focus to something else if what I'm assessing, what I'm perceiving, is not desired in my life? And if there's something that I do have that's not desired, how can I switch that around to either unfocus on something? I mean, if you have to pay bills and you have to feed kids and feed yourself and whatever, like you have to still do those things. But you don't have to fill your mind with poor me, everything's always wrong. You have to fill your mind with, wow, look at the things that are amazing in my life right now. Look at the sunset. Look at the air I get to breathe. Appreciate my heart beating and my body handling everything to whatever level it's handling it at. Just the thought that we can be in a situation and have adrenaline flow through us and give us more energy is like, what an amazing system. Like, we don't direct things in our bodies are doing so many things all at the same time. It's like a whole universe in itself. And we don't have to do anything for it other than feed it, water it, give it rest, appreciate it. That's a big one I realized, is I've really had to start appreciating my body and just giving it affection. And listening, especially with food. For me, there's certain foods that my body is just not as happy with, and making sure I have the foods that it is happy with available, so that when I'm really hungry, I have something to eat that is good for me, that my body really appreciates, other than, grabbing things that it doesn't like, which I still sometimes do. We all do. It's fine. It happens. Don't be hard on yourself. But it's the trick that I use, and I don't always make it happen, but the trick that I use that really works well for me in that regard is that I don't take away foods first. I add foods first. So if I know I want more greens in my life and less processed food, I don't take away the processed food first. I bring in more greens, and then I can take out the processed foods, because there's other things I can eat instead of the processed foods. If you just take away foods that you feel like are not as healthy for you, you end up with an empty cupboard, and then you're starving, and you just go back to eating whatever just because you're hungry. So set yourself up for success by giving yourself things to eat first, and then taking away things. I don't know who needs to hear it, but there it is. That was the way that made eating healthier a lot easier, simpler for me. And if there's processed food around because someone else brings it in the house, I still eat it. Not always, but it is a lot more challenging if it's around and available. And they are made to be addicting. They are made to be craveable. There's a whole science behind that. So don't be mad at yourself. Don't put it in easy reach. Just a little tip. But it's a choice, right? Like, it's a choice what you want to do. And it's the same with the things in your life. Don't try and take away the stress first. Try and add things that help you to relax. And that could be as simple as deep breathing. That, honestly, guys, has been my number 2 tool in this whole process of being more aware, of bringing in love and light into my life. And I did edit that, because what the first words that came through was Christ consciousness, and my brain went, well, someone's going to get upset about me saying those words. So I changed it to love and light, and I'm just like, you know what? I'm just going to confess and tell you that my brain edited that, and that's what I was going to say. But that's really where I am focusing on in my life, is bringing in that frequency of Christ consciousness. And anybody can do it, but it is something your soul wants to do, because you are living a very different life when you do that. It is full of love. It is full of joy and peace. But you are really, really focused on that. Like, that's your primary focus in your life, is on embodying that consciousness. So, not for everybody necessarily, but definitely available for anybody who feels called to embody that and to enjoy that. There's a book I read recently called Anna, the Grandmother of Jesus, and that's been really interesting. It talks about the possibility of there having been a mystery school and how they went about orchestrating that whole ascension process of bringing that level of consciousness to the planet. It's, like I said again, not for everybody, but if it resonates with you, it's very likely life-changing. So if you're not ready to change your life, don't read it yet. But if you are, go enjoy. It's a choice, right? It's always a choice. And why am I bringing this up in a podcast that's called In the Kink of Things? Because Christ consciousness does not mean filtering. It does not mean this is okay, this is not okay. What you're coming from when you're in that frequency, when you're in that energy, it doesn't matter how it's expressed. Because there's certain things you're not going to do. You're not going to go on a rampage. You're not going to go and hurt people in a way that's damaging to them. You can still play and do certain things like, playing with the hardest sensation plays, but you're coming out at it from a place of deep love, compassion, kindness, and co-creation. And that's what I really feel like for myself. I'm here to embody and to share with you guys that spirituality, kindness, love is not in a box. There are not certain things that are outside of the box. This is a frequency that actually encompasses more things. You can love the negative things. You can embrace the negative things, and you can elevate that frequency, because Christ consciousness is a oneness frequency, not a duality frequency. There is no positive or negative. There just is in that frequency. There might be going away from or going towards. So that might be the only duality in that frequency, is there are certain things that you're drawn to and certain things that you are repelled from. But that's it. It's not a, this is bad, this is good. It's a, this is pushing me away and this is drawing me to, just like a magnet. You still have the positive and the negative side on the magnet, but one or the other isn't bad and good. It's just one pushes in that direction and one pulls in that direction. It's perspective, right? It's how you decide something is based on your feelings. So I am encouraging y'all to take a step back and to come at things from a slightly different perspective. When you are slightly removed from the situation, you can see a bigger picture. You're not just stuck right here and like, in this moment I'm feeling this and because of that and I'm reacting, and it's just like, no, if you slightly step back, and you can be deep into it and still be in that observer mode, in that assessment, or in that like, okay, this is what I'm feeling, But then based on that, I'm making a choice of how I want to react versus I'm feeling this way and this is the reaction that I'm automatically going to do because based on my past, that feeling validates that reaction and that brings that outcome where you can take a stop, assess, I'm feeling this way. How do I want to move from that position? Where do I want to put my energy? Do I want to continue that pattern that's there on automatic because our minds are often somewhere else? So our body runs our automatic patterns. Or you can decide, this is where I'm at. Okay, I'm feeling this. What am I reacting to? And what do I choose to want to do with that? Or do I not want to react at all to the world and choose to be in a different frequency? I've done that recently, and it was so empowering for myself to choose differently, where in the past I would have reacted, and at that point I did not. And that was really fun for me to have that new reality, to have that new perspective of making that choice. Because in the past, I would have reacted to somebody else saying, I am really stressed right now. And I was like, well, how can we unstress the situation? And at that point, I meant to just like, you know what? I'm not going to jump on your train. I'm going to be over here and I'm going to be calm and centered and allow things to unfold and happen. And you can be stressed over there. That's perfectly fine. But I am going to be in my own frequency over here. And that was amazing. That was such a aha moment for me of I don't have to react to everything that's presented to me in my reality. And that is really, for me, was really the beginning of I can choose. And it's been really fun to actually keep doing that and watching how things change around me, watching how things were flowing more with ease because I felt more at ease within myself. And that really proved to me that I can choose how I want to react to the world. I can choose how I want to show up, and I can choose what I focus on in life, and it will make a difference. And I mentioned earlier, coming back around circles, that my number 2 tool is taking deep breaths. And my number 1 tool is the awareness, the presence, the being here and noticing when things happen so that I'm not reacting by default to a situation, but I have the ability to choose because I'm present, I'm here, I'm not thinking about what's happened in the past or what's going on in the future or what do I have to do after I'm doing this. I am actually here. I am actually noticing. I'm actually receiving my feelings. I'm actually like noticing the tension or relaxation in my body. I am noticing my breathing, what's going on around me. And I'm able to feel the frequency of myself, of now, of presence, of what is going on, of what is present here. And that is really a game changer for me is being able to make changes because I am in the now. I am present, I am here, and I can feel the frequency of what's going on in this moment. And that is the point where you're able to change things, is in the now. And where you get to, enjoy things. This morning was an amazing sunrise. And instead of just, letting the cat out and rushing back in, I was just like, let's enjoy this moment. Same with him coming for a pet. Let's enjoy the moment. Let's share our presence with the people, the animals, the things around us. And let's take the time to appreciate what we have and what we're able to perceive in our reality, and appreciate having choices, appreciate having the ability to shift if what we've chosen in the past doesn't align with us anymore. Doesn't necessarily mean they're bad. It just means there's something that we're not excited about anymore. There's something that we're done creating and we want to move on so we can create something else. But we can't create out of lack, out of fear, out of frustration. We create out of peace, out of joy, out of excitement. And sometimes all we need to do is we need to create some space in our lives for ourselves to be in the now so that we can tune into that creative energy that we all have flowing through us all the time, and not are trying to force things in our life. And that's where I use the breath a lot, where I take a deep breath, just allow myself to relax. If I need to close my eyes, I close my eyes. And I just let all the energy of a previous moment just drain out. And then allow myself to reset, refill with now energy, with now moment, with now breath. And then move forward from that point. And I do hope that these chats are enjoyable for you, are inspiring, are like having a cup of tea with a friend, where you may hear something unexpected, where you feel inspired, loved, and appreciated. Because that's what all of this is about. That's why I share, is to those who resonate with me, to know that you're not alone. There's so much support in the universe for you. So much love, so much presence, so much co-creation opportunities, that you just need to allow them to come in. And that starts with being aware, being in our present, being with the breath, being with yourself, and hanging out with people that resonate with you and that are already in that frequency that you wish to embody. And whether that's watching through a video, being in an online community, or attracting people in your life, don't go out and search them. They will come to you. This video found you somehow. I didn't go out and search for you, but you found me. You attracted me into your life. And the more you are present with yourself, the more you allow yourself to blossom, the more those kind of things will come and be attracted into your life. So with that, so much love, so much gratitude and appreciation. And we'll talk to you next time. Bye for now.